I went off. Cyril Dominguez, Chief of Police. So we've had a lot of conversation here today in regards to this event, and what I want to try to do in short order and as concise as possible is bring a little logic and a little reason and some context to what we've done as a planning and a security protocols, and as Chad mentioned. So first and foremost, the idea that any of our planning or any of our efforts in billing or any of that is either biased or unfair, that's a false statement and objectively a lie. The facts are that we plan at a national standard. So when I got here in October, our guys and gals that were doing special events planning were doing a pretty good job. But we're doing a great job now. We've lifted our level of performance. We're planning at a national standard. That national standard includes best practices from the National Tactical Officers Association, IACP, DOJ, Homeland Security, and we are working in concert with both the Sheriff's Office and the Fire Department, the chiefs in the back, in NIMS, which is a National Incident Management System. So everything we do is at that national level. I say that in comparison to other infamous events that you've seen just in the past year, that when you fall below a certain standard, you have a vulnerability, okay? And by the very nature of what we've seen today, and on Tuesday, we see that there's a lot of controversy with this event. So we plan for the worst case scenario, and we're prepared for the worst case scenario. And our job and our mission is to be unbiased, apolitical, and to serve and protect every human being that is in our area of responsibility. That includes Cambria Park, that includes events anywhere in the city that we are working. So now that I've said that, when we make an assessment, and the lieutenant can go into a little detail, but we have to remain in an area where it's security sensitive information that we don't divulge it. But we look at everything that has to do with the event. That includes intelligence information, current events, past events, historic events, the venue, the footprint, the size, the accessibility, the time and date, the potential for conflict, the expected size of the crowd, and then event particulars, include music, entertainment, and those kind of things. So the hourly rate, that's an issue of question. Well, the hourly rate, the rate that we charge for a non-city, now understand there's two events, right? If it's a city event that the city sponsors, that the city is paying us on city dollars, right, that's a different rate. So that would be, let's say, the 4th of July. That's a good example. The city sponsors that, that's a city rate. We have a special duty rate, and so does the county, so does most agencies, for outside vendors, in this case, the Pride folks. So that rate is higher than our normal rate, and it has gone up in the last year and change. So that's part of the raise in the fees. And the other part in the raise in the fees is that we plan better. We have more staff involved in this for that very reason. In the past, we probably planned less prepared. We plan now at a national standard. So that's going to go up. I use for analogy, if you built a house in 1982, what are the standards of today if you rebuild the house? It's going to cost more. That's my analogy. It costs more to have events because there's more threats out there, and that's the reality. And if you just have to look at New Orleans and see that they had the equipment, they did not use it. We have the staff. We're going to have a park and an open air event. We're going to use all the resources that we have available, including the sheriff's office, to help make sure that place is safe. That costs money. So the comparisons, and I've read this from other folks on other events. Well, the reality is that Cars on 5th, the estimate for them this year is $33,000. The estimate for 3rd Street Walk, its smaller footprint, $15,000. The estimate for the 5th Avenue Long Table, $22,000. So the estimates for Pride are twofold. One, $30,000 if it's a private event using the Norris Center or some other facility, and an open air event is $44,000 because the park is larger if he puts the park up.
David, can you switch over to the park?
That is a large piece of property to secure. The manpower that we're using to secure that is almost identical to what we did for the Centennial. That's a lot of access, a lot of trees, a lot of movement, a lot of things going on. So we want to make sure everybody's safe. So that's where that comes from. So the down and dirty of this is this. There are three choices here. You can approve the event as is, open air, approve the event in the Norris Center or using something like that, or do not approve the event. There are three choices. But the police department stays exactly where we are. We're mission-driven. We serve and protect. We are absolutely apolitical. And the idea that we would ever make any decisions based on anything else than what the law is false. And I wanted to make sure I said that today, because any reference in the negative of that is an insult to the men and women that work here.
Thank you, sir.